All right, in this lesson, we're going to be looking at the string module and basic text processing in Python. We need to import that string module. First of all, let's have a look at some pre-initialized strings used as string constants. They will serve as some sort of a demo of what string module can do for us. So the first one is called ASCII letters, and it is basically a concatenation of ASCII lowercase and ASCII uppercase constants. And it basically will give us all letters of the English alphabet in lowercase and in the uppercase. Punctuation will give us all symbols that Python considers to be in punctuation domain. So it's not only the commas and dashes, these going to be, you'll see it yourself in a second. And then two examples of digits. One is the hexadecimal format and another is the regular base 10 format. So let's run those print statements and observe the result. You can pause the video here if you need some extra time to study the results, but we need to move on. So let's continue studying the string module and let's get to the functions that can actually do something useful. But first, we'll need some strings to practice those functions on. So below those print statements, I will create three functions that we'll use for our tests. So test str1 will hold a famous English tongue twister. The shells she sells are the seashells. I made it. Test str2 will contain a single composite word, if you'd like, but without any spaces. And you'll see in a moment why this is important. So intergalactic Python, one word, no spaces. And test str3 will contain a string representation of a number. And for a good demo, we'll make it a big long number, but within the quotes, so that Python interpreter will read it as a string. So now we can use these test strings in our exercises. So let me comment out those previous print statements, and our first exercise will be to create a function to go through this test str1 and eliminate any spaces. So we'll store the results of that function in a variable res, and we're going to use the join function, and then inside the join, we'll use something called list comprehension. So don't get too upset or overwhelmed. We're going to study the list comprehension later in this course. But for now, all you need to know is that by using this string.ascii letters, we skip everything that is not in this ASCII letters domain. And then we join what is in this ASCII letters domain together. And as you can see, here is a long string, but without any spaces. However, in Python, like in any other programming language, if you have to write a big and clumsy function to achieve some common functionality, then this function will most likely in the following versions of that programming language will be adopted into the standard library. And some of these functions can be used to check whether the string under the test satisfies some specific condition. For example, by using the function isAllNum, we can check whether the test string str consists of just the alphanumeric symbols. And to check whether a string contains only letters, we can use the function isAlpha. And isAllNum returns false because the string under test contains not only letters and numbers, but spaces. They are not considered as alphanumeric symbols. And isAlpha returns true because indeed test str2 consists of just the letters. And even if I will append the test str1 with a number 1, it wouldn't change the result because str1 consists of spaces and letters. And it doesn't matter if we add or how we add the number to that string. However, if I will append a number to the test str2 and run the test again, it will return false because str2 is checked whether it consists of just letters, and now it is not true. And we could even take this one step further and use one of these functions in the list comprehension to check whether a string consists of, say, numbers or letters. And let's do it. Let me comment out the print statements again, because rather than storing the result in some kind of a variable, we're going to be printing it out straight away. We will also be using a function that we are already familiar with. This is the all function. And inside the square brackets, our list comprehension will have the following signature. So we're going to be checking whether this temporary variable is equal to, let's say, a letter. That's why we're using this function is alpha. So we're going to be iterating through the string, and as long as each symbol is a letter, the condition will be true. But if we'll encounter something that is not a letter, like in this case, it is a space, then the whole expression will return false. All right, so we've looked at how we can check whether the string contains just the alphanumeric symbols or just letters, alpha symbols. But now we can have a look at the numeric symbols. So there is a function for checking whether the string contains just the numeric symbols is numeric. And strings under test will be str1 and str3. And we can see that str3 contains just the numbers. So let's run the code now. And we see that it returns false and true. So false for str1 because indeed it doesn't have just the numbers, and str3 returns true.